You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
And we are back for the final round of today's Eternal Tournament Series Open, or at least final round before we cut to the top 8. I am Sir Rhino, and joining me in the booth to bring all of this action to an almost climax. This is the penultimate climax, if you will, is Ilyon. How you doing, Ilyon?
Knock, knock. Doing pretty good. Busting on in here. So we've got Praxis versus Argenport. So we're kind of going to smash some big things against each other for a little while here.
Yeah, this is a matchup that's kind of been one of the premier matchups since Omens of the Past came out, and then Argenport got its buff with Tavrod, where it's just these two big mid-range decks, although Argenport's kind of taken Praxis' spot as like the aggressive mid-range deck, and then now that it has access to more flyers in the form of basically Inquisitor's Blade turning anything into a flyer, and Crown Watch Trader being hard to chump block, has kind of taken the lead in this matchup, and now it's up to Praxis to figure out a way to bring it back.
Yeah, and we're seeing with this Argenport list that it is running 3 main deck Inquisitor's Blades, which I think is going to be pretty key in the matchup. Like that's going to be the big turning point a lot of the time, is just how many Inquisitor's Blades they get and where.
Yeah. Crucially, Mouche is pretty well prepared for it. There's a lot of ways to build Praxis, just like there's a lot of ways to build Argenport. And Mouche is bringing the full 4 of Praxis Displacer to bounce a unit and get those weapons to fall off, also get them ahead on board, which is where you need to be against Argenport, right? Argenport has a real tough time getting back control of the board once it starts spiraling out of control. And Praxis is really good at keeping ahead on board once it starts spiraling out of control.
Yeah, crucially for the people that may or may not know, I'm sure that most of the people here are pretty well versed in Eternal, but we have the Inquisitor's Blade, which grants flying to the wielder, and when the wielder dies, it gives it the blade destiny, and it goes back into the top 10 cards of your deck. But like it says, when the wielder dies, so if you use Praxis Displacer to simply bounce the unit, it'll just make the blade fall off, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. One of the biggest threats being if you kill the creature that is Inquisitor's Bladed, and then Tavrod just buys it back in the middle of combat. And that's a big problem for a lot of decks, but you can just kind of get around that by displacing it.
Exactly. So Mouche, making his stand with 4 Praxis Displacers and looking to just leverage that. Before it was kind of hard to leverage Praxis Displacer in a lot of Praxis lists because you weren't really impacting the board with anything that mattered on early turns other than Dawnwalker. Where here, Mouche has Initiative Sands and Trailmaker early on to accelerate into that game plan, but crucially, alongside Dawnwalker has Reliquary Raider, which I imagine pairs pretty well with the Praxis Displacer plan.
Yeah, you can get some really good tempo draws of just like Reliquary Raider. Your opponent just sits back to hopefully block it so you're not getting the draw, and then you just displace and start getting this tempo game going, which is a pretty sweet little idea for Praxis. I really like that as a proactive strategy to get it going.
I think the most surprising thing for me out of this Praxis list is that all the obelisks are in the side. Especially going on Trailmaker and Initiate. You've got a little more small units than you're used to seeing in Praxis, and no way to really bolster their effectiveness in the mid to late game. So it's a little surprising to see Trailmaker over Power Stone, but no Obelisk. But we'll see how that ends up playing out. On the other side, Argenport mid-range looks pretty close to stock 2 Runehammer, 3 Inquisitor's Blade rather than 4 Blade, sure. But, some finesse, nothing too crazy as we see Mouche get off to a hot start.
This hand is off. Yeah, well, this is looking really tough for Mouche, though, because crucially they hit that time sigil, but they're still going to need to hit another one, because I've got to imagine that we're going to see Vara's favor here. Yeah, and just eating that Initiate is so key right now. It's really putting Mouche on the back foot. Reliquary Raider is a good draw, though.
It is, but Wall, and I'm just going to call him Wall, it has the right response, or a great response here with Valkyrie Enforcer turning this 1/3 into simply just a 1/3.
Yeah, and Mouche is going to need to get some good draws to come out of this. Crest of Impulse is it. I mean, that is very helpful. So that this might still be a game. I was really worried when we saw Mouche's opening hand that this was just going to be in and out, but some crucial draws here of power have made it pretty reasonable to still be in the game.
And you got to keep that time sigil on
That,
top, right?
you got to, yeah.
You've
I
got
think
World
so.
Bear, Behemoth, and Predatory Carnosaur. Like, what more
Yeah,
do
how
you
can you
want than
possibly?
undepleted power? And yeah, I love this Purify here. You're going to be using up your power on every, like, the next 3 or 4 turns, guaranteed. So just use a Purify now. Don't give them a chance to put any weapons on this flyer. Make them find something else to get on the board.
Yeah, because the worst possible situation for you there is for them to just slam a Bloodletter onto their Valkyrie Enforcer. Because sure, you have Sandstorm Titan, but it doesn't block it appropriately. And if they have like Bloodletter and an Annihilate, well, good luck. It's game. Like, you need to get rid of it now before it gets anything.
Yeah. So here, Wall will opt to use that Slay on World Bear Behemoth. Could have, put a weapon on the Interrogator, start cantripping, but wouldn't have been able to swing with it, and that would have let Behemoth draw a card. But now Mouche finds another undepleted source here and can slam down Carnosaur if they so choose. Swings first to probe for Annihilate, but spoiler alert, Annihilates are all in Wall's sideboard anyways.
Yeah, this would be, I was going to say, this is a pretty incredible draw here from Mouche, because I did not expect this game to be going this way from the opening hands, but drawing just the right amount of power to hit everything on curve is really putting Wallow on the spot here.
Yeah.
Like, this is a rough position, too. How do you deal with Carnosaur? Like, there's just nothing. You don't have any way to really deal with it yet. I mean, I guess you have to use your Valkyrie Enforcer, but they're going to feel, oh, wow. They're going to feel real bad about that when Sandstorm Titan comes down and mostly blanks it next turn. And now we have a second Sandstorm Titan as extra backup. So, yeah. I mean, just an awkward position for Wallow here.
Crown Watch Trader with a Bloodletter ain't too shabby, though. That means on defense it'll be a 6/8. And Praxis will have to find a way to deal with it by either bouncing it or silencing it and fixing it that way. So I don't think Wall has many other options here. It's not like you can put Bloodletter on Valkyrie Enforcer. I mean, you could, but it just puts 6/6 on this board.
Yeah, that you could do it, but I think that it would be an awkward choice. I mean, it's possible that he goes for the Bloodletter onto the Valkyrie Enforcer, play the Runehammer, and kill the Raider, but that just seems like a really awkward decision to make. I don't think that that's the right decision, because Sandstorm Titan is going to eventually just stop your Valkyrie Enforcer from getting through your the Carnosaurs, and using Runehammer to kill a 1/3 that's already silenced seems not optimal, but we're gonna see it here. So I've got to imagine this is Bloodletter attack. Yep,
Bloodletter attack. So Runehammer can be a strong card against time decks, but that's usually if you're rising for it and turning into a 6 strength card. Here it's just taking out, as you said, just a Silence Reliquary Raider. Not a whole lot to it. And while Wall gained 6 life and got a 6/6 on the board to try and hold off these Sandstorm Titans, still has no real clean answer to this Predatory Carnosaur and simply draws a Justice Sigil.
Yeah, there's just not enough. I mean, and Torch is going to take off that Crown Watch. Like, it's just bad news after bad news for Wallow here. Brutal. You gain the 6 life back, but you're still under a lot of pressure. I mean, it's not going to be long before you just throw Sandstorm Titans away just to go face.
Yeah, I don't think you do it here, though.
Not quite yet. I mean, it's close. It's really close, because it puts you at a point where just Heart of the Vault wouldn't be able to do it because of the faction requirements, but if being on 2 against a deck that has Heart of the Vaults and Torches is not where you want to be.
Let's see. If you A space here and they have nothing, you do either 11 or 10 damage. And either way is pretty good for you. And I'm assuming you would do 11. I think the Valkyrie Enforcer would eat something. So you have 2 units in play that are lethal, but they have one unit able to block one of them, and then they could draw who knows what. So
no, I agree that the 6/6 is what should be going in here. I don't think you attack with everything, but it's close. Like, you're getting close to that point. So it's tough spot.
The fact that it would put them in torch range makes it tempting, but also the fact that they're not forced to put their 6/6 on your 6/6, I think makes this just fine, because now your A space is still lethal. Like, you have so why throw away a Titan effectively?
And are we gonna see a Heart of the Vault off the top? No, we're not. It's always neat to see the crests basically digging 2 cards for things that have warp like that. It's It's a sweet thing to bottom a card and then not only bottom something that was useless, but then immediately hit like a Heart of the Vault and just pop that off.
Yeah, crests are incredibly powerful, especially in this Praxis list.
Wow, that was quite a turnaround, though. From an opening hand that looked just incredibly dead to what Wallow was doing there, including like popping off the Initiate right away. I did not expect that game to go that way. So a real turnaround there at the start. And what do you think is going to be the sideboard plan here for this Argenport midrange to deal with these big units?
Well, we've seen in past rounds how Argenport can struggle, but well, there's 4 Vanquish and 3 Annihilate. That could be the plan here. Auric Runehammer, if it's not reliably getting buffed, isn't quite what you need it to be here. So I could see those get trimmed down. We saw how bad it was last game. Now, if it gets, say, 2 to 3 Warcries from the help of Rip Knife Assassin and Crownwatch Paladin, sure, now we're talking. That could work out. Also, I don't love Sabotage against Praxis. Their removal is really cheap in terms of Purify and Torch, and they also don't have many non-unit spells. They don't have a ton of hits. Maybe they bring in Obelisk or something like that, but even then, you're not likely to get hit. So I think all of those cards come out for just nice, cheap removal for those big-time threats.
Do you put in the last Inquisitor's Blade here?
I think so, yeah. That card I've found in my experience to be really important in this matchup. Now, it is a little sketchy knowing that your Praxis opponent is probably bringing in some number of Scorpion Wasp, but I think that's just something you have to accept. Again, you're cutting you're cutting 2 Runehammer, 3 Sabo. It's really a question of, are you cutting anything else to make room for an extra blade over your Annihilate or Vanquish? Maybe 3 is just the right number. Or maybe Finest Hour isn't high enough impact and you'd rather cut those for an extra permanent buff like Inquisitor's Blade.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think you want to try and find room for the blade, but I'm not 100% on exactly what you might want to cut there. It's possible that Crownwatch Paladin is something that you could trim down on.
Yeah,
it's pretty blanked by things like Reliquary Raider, and it's, even knowing that your opponent also has 4 Initiates, 4 Trailmakers, those are not cards that they're always going to want to trade away, but it does make Crownwatch Paladin kind of awkward. So I could certainly see some of those being trimmed down as well.
Yeah, a big part of Crownwatch Paladin's appeal is that in a lot of matchups, you can go turn 2 Paladin, turn 3 Bloodletter, and it's a real card for a long time. And in this matchup, that might not always be the case. It still trades with Dawnwalker. It still gets blanked by a lot of large time units. So yeah, I could see trimming down on that, but it might just be this Argenport deck's built in such a way that you can't really cut down on your 2 drops. You kind of have to stay aggressive.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't put it past them to keep all 4 in. It's just a possibility if you really, really want to squeeze in that last Inquisitor's Blade or get the last Annihilator Vanquish into the deck here.
So it looks like this second game is underway. Mouche has power, but it's also depleted and slow and awkward. Praxis Banner has to come out here. Then it's a Trailmaker. Meanwhile, Wall has the ability to play a 2-drop here and follow it up with any kind of removal, whether it's Vara's Favor or Slay down the line.
Yeah, and I'd like to say that Mouche is in trouble, but I think last game, this was pretty much exactly what happened. And man, Mouche just kind of got exactly the draws that they wanted. So it's certainly possible that we're still in a game.
Yep, Mouche going for the time source there just to gain life off of the Amber Waystone, knowing he'll get the fire source for Heart of the Vault from this Trailmaker that's still in hand, or the Crest of Impulse right off the top of the deck. Either way, they were going to get a 3rd fire source, so might as well get that life gain. Meantime, Wall, use Vara's Favor because it was obvious to do so, and is getting those war cries going.
Crest being a little bit awkward here as a depleted power, but I mean, still not the worst draw. Knowing that you're going to get the ability to play the Heart of the Vault and everything is still kind of nice.
Mouche showing off some style points here, making a shadow influence with Trailmaker and not trading off with the Rip Knife Assassin, trying to hope that you draw undepleted power here, get to play Heart of the Vault and just straight up kill it.
Yeah, and I like that play. I think that it's a good idea to be a little bit risky here. You don't care that much about a Warcry trigger because all of your creatures are also just massive. So it's not as big of a deal as it might be in another deck where your creatures already match up really, really well against theirs.
So
But,
now
I mean,
Wall
miss
has to
is hard.
decide, does he kill the Titan? And he does. Or they
Yeah,
do.
just immediately does it.
Yeah.
Hardly any hesitation at all. Do you continue to wait here and hope to draw the undepleted power? I think that you're kind of priced in at this point, right? Like, I think you just have to keep taking it and hope that you top deck.
All right, well, there's power. It's undepleted.
Dagger.
Yeah, so that'll come out and scout around, and that'll, I think, help Mouche decide what else to play out here, but won't be able to use Initiation plus a unit or simply, as you said, play out Heart of the Vault here, which certainly hurts Mouche, but okay, there's a time sigil.
You have to keep this time sigil, right? I was about to ask, like, if we scout a sigil to the top, you have to keep it because Heart of the Vault is so key right now, right?
Yeah, unless you're still planning on not blocking with Trailmaker, but I think now you keep that on top, plan on blocking with Trailmaker, slam down the Titan, and yeah, that's what we see here. So the first Titan did its job, which is eat removal for the second Titan, but Wall draws
a top deck though.
But
that
he
top
already
deck annihilate.
Yeah, he's put off playing Tavrod for one turn, and now he's going to put it off for a second turn, and just opt to keep pressuring with this Orc Interrogator instead, and also gets to play a second Interrogator.
I think that's a pretty good play. Tavrod gets blanked by so much in Praxis here in a way where it can attack, but it doesn't necessarily attack that well. Like, you can play a Heart of the Vault or something, and it's not that much of a threat, whereas just keeping the pressure up, wiping the board is a pretty good one. Although, wow, Heart of the Vault into Heart of the Vault is going to be pretty nasty. We can also see this Initiation come down to eat the Tavrod.
Yeah.
I think that...
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness.
I think
this
Mouche,
is filthy.
I think Mouche needs to use Xenon Initiation, though, to kill Tavrod here.
Yeah, I think
as tempting as it is to get crazy Heart of the Vault value, just kill their win cons now, get your value.
You're going to get value on it later anyways. I mean, you get, I was going to say, you get a 6/6 to kill the 4/3, and you get the Initiation. That's already more value than you're getting out of the Heart of Vaults already. Wow. So, I mean.
But the 3 Warcry show up, and it's on Crown Watch Trader.
You get to bounce it with the Praxis Displacer.
2-turn clock if you bounce it here.
That's certainly reasonable. It might be possible to do attack with the 7/7 first. Nope, they're just going to go straight for the bounce and hopefully have enough pressure.
Yeah, wow, that was a huge Warcry hit. And Ripknife Assassin off the tops, not too shabby as far as 2 drops go, but the problem is that it actually dies to Heart of the Vault here. Of course, that means you're not taking 2 to the face.
Which is a real consideration at this point because Wallow's pretty low and there's facing down a lot of power.
So because Praxis Displacer bounces Trader, it didn't flip at the end of the last turn. So now it's a 9/7, and you can just kind of swing your Heart of the Vault or whatever into it. Now that, oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Of a kind.
Wow.
Of course, Wall can just win this game with an Inquisitor's Blade on Crown Watch Trader.
Yeah, absolutely. There's still top deck outs here, no question. But I mean, you've got to get aggressive, being Mouche, knowing that, just try and finish this game out. Hope they don't hit it. Do we see the dream? Is it the miracle? It's just a Tavrod. So it looks like we're going to have Mouche take this in 2 games.
Yeah, chump blocks with the Carnosaur there. Doesn't want to die to a Finest Hour, which Wall does have in their deck. And
I mean, well, they're not quite dead yet.
Well, Mouche will clear the board here, though, which makes it virtually impossible for Argenport to regain the match, right?
It should be pretty much over.
Yeah, after this swing, Mouche is going to have 2 Heart of the Vaults, and Wall is going to have nothing. So that's a pretty good place to be in.
Considering only 1 card in hand, and we know that card is just a power, it's probably not going to help.
Yeah.
So we're seeing 2 power in the hand, though, in the preview, right? But there's only one power actually in Wallow's hand right now.
Yeah, something weird happened.
A little bit of a viewer bug. Yeah.
Spectator bug again, but
just to kind of mention it to chat so that they understand what's going on.
Yeah,
Opting to block, chump block with Tavrod and use the Crown Watch to eat the 6/6, which makes a lot of sense if your hope is to get Inquisitor's Blade. But, you know, this Heart of the Vault is going to put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, and that is going to do it. Valkyrie Enforcer, great card, not so great when facing down a pair of Heart of the Vaults. And yeah, Mouche getting rewarded for keeping that power on top with more and more 6-drops.
Yeah, just constantly drawing threat after threat after threat, which is just what Praxis is so good at. You have to answer every single one of those. And Heart of the Vault, Heart of the Vault and the Heart of the Vault and the Heart of the Vault is going to be pretty much lethal no matter who you're playing against.
Yeah, that is the best card in Praxis. Is kind of the reason Praxis is a deck. Heart of the Vault just can do a lot of work. You know, Sandstorm Titan, Praxis Displacer, Predatory Carnosaur, they're not slouches in their own rights, but Heart of the Vault is the reason to be Praxis, and it showed why there.
Yeah, vaulting to victory, it's certainly the heart of the deck. We're going to go to another match here, I think.
We're not.
No, they just reported. Nice. All right, so we were going to go to another one, but they just reported. So these matches are ending really quickly this round. We're going to look for another one for you and see if we can find something. But I'm not sure how much we have left right now. So we're just going to find that out for everybody.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we do have initial results for the top 8. Ilya K locked up 6-0 playing FTP Moment, so running hot. It's a rough go of it in the ETS as of late, so good to see a nice return to form here for Ilya. Sifu Danny 5-1 with that Huru mid-range list. We saw
which I love seeing.
The Owls came knocking and have been rocking people so far. Child Roland 5-1 with Dark Heart, and then we just saw Mouche get to 5-1 on Praxis mid-range. So that's the top half of the top 8 so far. Not sure how many other outstanding potential X1s are out there in the bracket, but there will be some 4-2s with good breaks sneaking in soon as well.
Yep. So we're trying to get a round set up here right now between some people that are still vying for position here. We're just going to get that to you right away. We just need to find out what the score is at currently. The undefeated deck in Swiss is FTP. That is, in fact, what we are seeing. So Ilya on FTP Monin is the undefeated one. There's a delay, but Battery's asking in the chat there. So yeah, FTP is making its mark on the format right now.
Yeah.
This might be the moment that it has to win. We'll see.
I can assure you, Batteries is well aware of who is playing FTP and how.
Oh yes, yeah.
All right, so let me jump in here and see if I can scout out where we're holding up a game right now. Potentially going forward. Let's see what happens. Whoa, okay. It's always fun jumping into games where FTP Moment's being played because players will have like a really weird random unit in their hand and you're like, what happened here? And then it's equivocating. So we've got the ThePlatypusKing up against Jez that we're going to be jumping into here. I don't know what their current records are, but I'm pretty sure they are fighting for a top 8 spot. Yeah, they're 1-1.
Yeah, they're 1-1 in the match, but yeah, I don't know exactly where they are.
Both are 4-1. So win and in guaranteed for one of these players. If you go to 4-2, though, might be on the outside looking in, depending on what your breakers are. So this is a win and in, and this is do or die in terms of that, as it's 1-1, as you said. So it's FTP Moment against Screaming Queen, and both players with a whole lot of action in their hand.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this should be interesting.
Yeah, ThePlatypusKing has gotten a Moment of Creation off on turn 7, just 2 5/5s, but that's pretty good with Jez behind on board right now. Bandit Queen in play, but this Bandit Queen in hand, not quite as effective if they're going to be slamming into a wall of 5/5s. Jez does have a Madness Combust, though, could just cleanly take care of the Sentinels that way. And has some other options available too. Sabotage is a really funny card against Moment of Creation decks because it can still just buff the Moment of Creation, but it can also take out spells and the like. And for those wondering why there's a Yeti Windflyer, well, Equivocate.
Yeah. Equivocate does some interesting things for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're just trying to get that up for everybody viewing at home as well.
And for people viewing not at home.
For people viewing at home and abroad.
All right, but okay, we see the Madness combust to take out that pair of Sentinels, take ThePlatypusKing down to 12. And Jez likes it now that the board is empty again and freeing up space for these Grenadin drones and queens to start pressuring. Don't know if we'll be able to get a hand cam set up or not. We're still working on that. But down comes a Sandstorm Titan. And Jez has no answer to that at the moment other than trading up queen with a torch. But a Madness on top is huge against a deck that's so light on units like what the ThePlatypusKing is packing.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty good. Madness is just absolutely fantastic too against any of these really, really large units too. You can, those 16-16 moments are really, really good feeling until you get Madness, and then suddenly it feels real bad.
Torch in response to this Sabo, and then Jez finds a Hailstorm. I don't know how many more are lurking in the ThePlatypusKing's hand.
Right now, ThePlatypusKing has a Strategize and 2 Heart of the Vaults. I'm just viewing them to give some perspective.
And no third time source. So
no third time source. So they're stuck on that. They did just draw a Wisdom, so they can draw and hopefully hit the time source and get there. They've got both the Strategize and a Wisdom of the Elders.
I think you would strategize first, though. So if you hit undepleted time source, you could play that and a Heart of the Vault.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But they can try and dig down through 2 different draw spells to try and make sure that they hit it. So yeah, we are going to see the Strategize first, like you said.
And in the meantime, ThePlatypusKing sitting at 12, facing down 4 units, and Jez has a Bandit Queen plus a Torch, and a Madness is lurking on top. And this TJP deck is good at a lot of things. It's not good at gaining health.
No, and it draws an Unseal and a Trailblaze, putting the Trailblaze on the bottom, and we're going to get, so we now have a hand that is, okay, so they get to play the power here, so they can hold up Unseal, but they've got Unseal, Wisdom, and 2 Heart of the Vaults for ThePlatypusKing, which...
Unseal is nice here.
It will stop the Madness.
Yeah, and Madness would have been lethal, so...
Yeah.
It is good to not be dead, right? Madness would have done effectively 5 damage plus 4 from the Grenadins plus 3 from the Torch. That's 12. So now Jez does not have, but still has a Queen and Torch lurking, and has a shot at putting something together over the course of the next couple of turns. And it's up to Heart of the Vault to do its thing again.
I was just going to ask the question: Do you like this attack here? Do you think that you throw in all of them to get the extra 3 damage, or do you wait to try and get your queen? I think that I like throwing it in, but...
You effectively get more damage by doing so now, right? Now they're at 9. Queen next turn means all of your unblocked Grenadin drones get in for 6, and Torch would have finished them off. So the math makes a lot of sense to swing there, give up 1 drone to get in 3 damage. But Heart of the Vault takes down a body, adds a body to the board, and Jez is close, but isn't quite there from what I can tell.
Yeah, and the Heart of the Vault hit just the power card. They have a Trailblaze, Wisdom, and Heart of the Vault in hand. So they're going to be able to answer this Vicious Highwayman with another Heart of the Vault here. And we're going to see a Trailblaze at the end of the turn. So this looks like Platypus is stabilized pretty well.
Yeah, and this is post-board, so it's possible ThePlatypusKing does have some life gain somewhere in the deck. I know I've seen these decks before play the Lumen Defenders or things like that. I don't have Platypus's list offhand just yet, but I can go dig for it. But speaking of digging, Trailblaze is the play this. Ooh,
It looks like there is Talir's intervention in the main, so that's a possible thing. And they also do have two lumen defenders out of the side as well.
Yeah,
so there is a little bit of potential for lightning. Oh, and Platypus just drew into Hailstorm, which is going to sew up this game pretty well, I think. Hailstorm, and Cerso in hand, and another Wisdom Elder is still just lurking there to get extra gas if it's needed. I can't imagine that Jez pulls this out. Do they have a possible Obliterate draw? I can't imagine. But
no Obliterate, and now
the only thing that I could think of.
And thanks to the endurance from Sandstorm Titan, not even Madness is an out. Treachery is 2 damage to the face, but that's not 5. And yeah, it looks like PlatypusKing just got this one.
Just squeaking through with the win it in. That was a tight race. Got Treachery getting Cerso here. Looks good, but not quite good enough. Platypus has to sweat a little bit, worried about a torch, but yeah, and they'll get through.
You know what? I was looking at Jez's Void. There's a Lumen Defender in the Void for Jez, so he had used Madness.
Already Madnessed it away
on one. So PlatypusKing winning with that extra buffer of 5 health being the difference there.
Yep, man. Close match. 5 health exactly being that the last turn and then Treachery. Gotta imagine that PlatypusKing was pretty clenched up there, worried about seeing that Treachery, and we're thinking that Torch might just come down and end their day, but got through it.
Yeah, they got to a spot where they just barely stabilized enough that they could dig for all the right pieces, and we saw that huge unseal prevent lethal and get them the win. So really well done, FTP, showing off what it can do. That's at least 2 Firetime Primal decks making it into the top 8 this week, as we already talked about how Ilya made it in undefeated with that deck.
And actually, we had that was the last match of the round, so we do have the top 8 all sewn up. At the top, we have FTP piloted by Ilyak, and then we have Sifu Danny on Hru midrange, Child Roland on Darkheart, Mouche on Praxis midrange, top 8 on TPS Life Force Relics, which is an that sounds like a deck that I want to see. PlatypusKing on Moment as well. Wallow squeaking in with Argenport midrange, and Kamado with Ikaria Blue. So we've got a relic pile and some moments, and this is an interesting top 8.
Yeah, top 8 in the top 8. Playing the relic pile. It's not that many relics. It's more just demonstrating any deck with 4 Black Sky Harbinger can do well. I think that's really what he's pushing here. But I really like what I'm seeing out of this list, and we might have to get it as the top 8 first round feature. We'll see. We'll take a quick break here, get that set up, and we'll be back with some awesome top 8 Eternal Tournament Series action here on aReNGee Eternal.